We have two children, Caitlin, who is 6, and Zach, who is 3. When Zach was born, we thought we had everything together. We had a boy and a girl, we had a house over our head, and great jobs and food to eat. We thought we were invincible. When Zach was about 5 months old, he was diagnosed with failure to thrive. He was really small and wasn't reaching his milestones. We were told to feed him every high-calorie food possible, and things would change. Things did change. He did start to gain weight, but he did not develop any further. And the more time went on, the further behind he slipped. In October, we were referred to Children's Hospital. We saw a pediatric neurologist who suggested that we do a brain MRI. Her concern was that he had had a stroke. She suggested we schedule this MRI as quickly as possible. On our way out, she handed us the phone number for radiology and said, "My hope is that your son has had a stroke." And I thought, gosh, if this is the best case scenario that Zach has had a stroke, we're in big trouble. So we followed through and did the MRI, and it was negative. We did blood work, and it was negative. We did a urine sample, and again, it was negative. This set us on the path of what felt like an endless journey of medical testing. My son was poked and prodded and tested and checked and evaluated more times than I ever have been in my life, and every answer was always, "We don't know what's wrong with your son, the results are negative." In December of 2009, we began doing therapy with ChildFind. We also began doing therapy with a place called the Anchor Center, which is a therapy center for children with visual impairments. At that point, they asked us to do an evaluation on his eyes. So we followed through and saw a pediatric ophthalmologist who diagnosed him with one thing, and then we saw another pediatric ophthalmologist who diagnosed him with something completely different. Our life that we knew was falling apart. The last physician that we saw was a geneticist, and his suggestion was to wait. He said, "You've done all the testing, you've done all the things that you could do. You should wait because your son will grow into his condition if it's genetic, and we can determine from that point what it is because he'll grow into his symptoms." And so we waited, and we're still waiting. Zach is 3, and we do not have a diagnosis. We do know he has developmental delays, and he has visual impairments. He's just now able to sit independently and is working with a team of therapists to stand. Throughout this very long period of time with all the testing, I was constantly poring over the internet doing research, trying to figure out what was wrong with my son. And Google can be your best friend and your worst enemy all at the same time. And that's exactly how it was when you type in things like developmental disability for children. And at one point, my husband came upstairs and said to me, "I agree, it is so important that we figure out what is going on with Zach and we continue searching for answers. And at the end of the day, he is still just a kid. He needs the same love and acceptance as any other kid. He needs to be played with and loved on just like any other child." And for the first time ever in my marriage, I thought my husband is totally right. So I went to bed that night and I prayed on it, and I thought, "God, you have never felt more distant to me than you do right now, but I know you're real. I know you're there, and I know you're not a punishing God. This isn't something that you've done to me. This is just something that has happened. What can I do to honor you in the midst of this?" And at that point, I began thinking through other families who don't have a support group. We had friends, and we had our church, and we had at least our family. So many other people don't have anything. And at that point, that is when I began thinking, I have to do something different. Oftentimes, families of children with special needs feel isolated, depressed, and very, very alone. There have been several families who attend Nightlights who have been asked to leave churches because their children are too difficult to take care of or are too disruptive during class. These families are often moved from school to school and from church to church, and they really have no support group. In Jefferson County alone, there are an estimated 9,000 children with special needs. And in the Denver metro area, there are only 3 respite care programs, and the wait lists are extensive. The need for respite care is far greater than the care available. Nightlights is a respite care organization for families of children with special needs. Once a month, the families come to Waterstone from 6:30 to 10 and bring their children with special needs and their siblings for a night of fun. The kids enjoy activities like crafts, free play, gross motor activities, snacks, a movie, and dog or cat therapy. Each evening of Nightlights, we have a nurse that's on staff with us to take care of children whose medical needs require assistance. If you're interested in getting involved with Nightlights, you can contact me at kristens@waterstonechurch.org. If you know of a family who has a child with special needs and they would like to take advantage of what Nightlights has to offer, please have them contact me as well. We'd love to talk with them.